Okay, so we all get the same 24 hours in a day, right? But have you ever noticed how some people seem to get like 3 times as much done? It's not because they have some secret productivity app or they never sleep. Nope. The secret is they've tapped into this hidden reserve of time. A reserve that most of us, honestly, just waste without even thinking about it.
I mean, 1,000 extra hours a year? That sounds completely impossible, doesn't it? But here's the thing. It's not about trying to cram more hours into the day. It's about unlocking the potential of the hours you already have. You know, the ones you probably think you aren't even using.
So this hidden reserve, it has a name. It's called dark time. And it's basically all those moments when your body's on autopilot, but your mind is just free. Think about it. Your commute, when you're in the shower, waiting in line for coffee, even those few minutes right before you drift off to sleep. This stuff adds up. We're talking at least 3 to 4 hours every single day. Do the math. That's well over 1,000 hours a year.
And here's what's crazy. This time is available to all of us, every single day. So the big question is, why do we just let it slip through our fingers? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look at how our brains are actually wired.
See, you might think that real thinking only happens when you're buckled down at your desk, but your brain just doesn't work that way. There was this fascinating study back in 2001 by a neurologist named Marcus Reichel. He found that even when we're just idle, staring into space, our brain is burning almost as much energy as when we're in deep, focused concentration. It's only about 5% lower. So your brain is always on. The real question isn't if it's working, it's what it's working on when you're not actively telling it what to do.
And the answer to that question? It comes down to our brain's ancient evolutionary default setting. It's like we're running software that was designed for a completely different world.
Think about it. For hundreds of thousands of years, our brains evolved to prioritize 2 main things for survival: spotting potential threats and reading social signals. Is that a predator in the bushes? Or who's on my side in the tribe? Well, today, that same ancient wiring is still humming along, but it latches onto modern anxieties. A new phone notification, what that colleague really meant in that email, or just the endless, mindless scroll.
And get this, it's not just a feeling. A Harvard study from 2022 actually put a number on it. It turns out we spend nearly half of our waking hours, a whopping 47%, in a state of mind wandering. And let's be honest, that wandering usually doesn't lead to brilliant new ideas. It usually leads straight to anxiety.
Okay, let's put that number into perspective. If you have, say, 3.5 hours of this dark time a day, that 47% adds up to over 600 hours a year. 600 hours! That is literally enough time to learn a new language or take a professional skill from total beginner to pretty darn good. But instead, that time gets sucked into this black hole of worry and distraction. And it's not just about the hours we lose today, it's the compounding effect of all that lost thinking that really holds us back in the long run.
So scientists actually have a name for the part of the brain that's active during this idle time. It's called the default mode network, or DMN for short. And you can think of it like a background processor on your computer. If you feed it junk, anxiety, distractions, it's just going to spin out more junk thoughts. But if you feed it a high-quality problem, it's capable of some serious genius.
And that's because this whole idea isn't just about not wasting time. It's about actively flipping a switch on this incredibly powerful cognitive amplifier that's already built right into your brain.
Okay, so your default mode network is designed to do 3 amazing things. First, it kind of refiles everything you learned during the day, connecting it to what you already know. Second, it starts mashing up ideas from totally different areas, which is where novel ideas come from. And third, it runs simulations of the future. And when those 3 things work together, bam, that's what we call a flash of insight, that aha moment. But this brings us to the absolute most important rule of dark time. Your DNN is an amplifier, not a magic creator. It can only work with the material you give it. There's this great quote from an author named Lu Weipeng that says, "What you can figure out while walking depends on what you put in your brain while sitting." I love that. So the crucial point is this: garbage in, garbage out, right? If you feed your brain high-quality questions and interesting material, your dark time is going to produce high-quality insights. But if you're constantly feeding it digital noise and anxiety, all it's going to do is amplify that chaos. You have to give it a better assignment.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we take control and start giving our brain these better assignments? Well, it's actually way simpler than you might think. Let's get into 4 really practical ways you can start reclaiming your dark time.
And the core idea behind all of these methods is exactly the same. You're consciously giving that powerful background processor in your brain a clear set of instructions, instead of just letting it default to distraction and worry.
All right, so here are 4 simple habits you can build. Number 1, prime your brain before you go to sleep. Just write down a problem you're stuck on. One study showed this boosted people's ability to solve it by 37%. Number 2, set a thinking topic for your commute. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, pick one specific question to chew on. Number 3, take what are called digestive walks. That low-intensity exercise is perfect for deep thought. And finally, number 4, reduce gap noise. That means turning off your notifications, maybe even putting your phone in grayscale, just to stop feeding your brain junk data in those little moments of downtime.
And look, mastering your dark time is so much more than just another productivity hack. This is a strategy that can fundamentally change the quality of your thinking and, honestly, the entire trajectory of your life.
The real goal here, the big prize, is something called cognitive compounding. You know how small, consistent financial investments can grow into a fortune over time? It's the exact same principle. Small, consistent thinking efforts in your dark time will build into this massive wealth of knowledge and insight.
And this isn't just some abstract theory. So many of history's greatest minds were absolute masters of dark time. I mean, Charles Darwin, he figured out huge parts of his theory of evolution on his daily walk, which he literally called his thinking path. Or think about Jeff Bezos. Before he ever started Amazon, he spent a summer just driving and thinking, using that dark time to realize just how huge online retail could be.
Which really brings us to the ultimate takeaway. The clock is the same for all of us. The real gap between people who do extraordinary things and those who don't, it's not the amount of time they have. It's the density and the quality of their thought within that time.
So, I want to leave you with this one question. Just think about your day so far. In all those little gaps, when you were waiting, walking, driving, what was your brain actually working on? Was it just spinning its wheels on something negative? Were you scrolling through stuff you won't remember tomorrow? Or was it chipping away at a problem that actually matters to you? Because the answer to that question, it's not just a reflection of your day. It's probably the single best predictor of where you're going to be 5 years from now.